I think this doe's gonna walk right up to me. I seen her up here yesterday evening and this morning eating on our grapes. I've been coming down here about once a day and grabbing me a bunch and eating on them myself, but it's gotten to the point where they're eating all of our grapes, so I'm gonna have to come down here and go ahead and harvest them. She's up there eating on some apples when I came up here. Hey everybody, I'm Andrew. Welcome to Eden Rock Farm. So I'm up here at our grapevines this morning. I've been having to come up here the last few days and keep the deer run off. They're eating on the lower limbs of my grapevines and cleaning up a lot of my grapes. So I wanted to get up here first thing this morning and get as many of these things picked as I can before the deer eat them all. So I ended up getting almost a whole basket of grapes, and I think they look pretty good. There are a few that aren't quite ripe and a few that are dried up, but I think they're going to turn out really good. I've got a few ideas on what I'd like to do with them. I also decided to leave a lot of these higher grapes up on these vines that the deer couldn't get to, because I'd like to save some for another day, and all of them aren't quite ripe yet. But let's go ahead and get these in the house in the AC, and we'll see what we can get into next. So I'm in here in our kitchen right now, and I got some of our grapes sitting out in front of me that we harvested a little earlier. We've decided to go ahead and do some canned grape juice out of these today. And this version that we're doing is going to be a quick version. It seems to be a pretty simple and easy recipe. I've also got my water over here on the stove, and it's starting to come up to temperature. But the next thing I need to do is get these grapes over here in the sink and get them washed up. So I went ahead and cleaned my sink up real good, and right now all I'm doing is washing the excess off of these, any kind of dirt or little bugs that might be on them, and I'm setting them to the side. So we'll go ahead and get that done first, and then after that I'm going to go ahead and come back and fill the sink up with some water and start pulling each of these off of the clusters. So instead of putting these in the sink, I decided to go ahead and just get me a colander and do it that way, so it's easier on me and they're not all over the place. We've got our grapes cleaned. I think I've got everything laid out here that I need to get these canned. But let's go over here to this pot. I've got our jars over here sterilizing in this boiling water. Let's grab them out of here next. I've got all my quart jars laid out here, and I'm ready to go ahead and start filling them up with the ingredients I need to get this grape juice canned. I'm doing 1 heaping cup of grapes today per quart jar. For my second ingredient, I'm just adding a half a cup of sugar to each quart jar. You may want to adjust this to suit your taste or depending on how sweet or tangy your grapes are. The last ingredient that I need for this grape juice is just boiling water, and I went ahead and had me an extra pot over here on the stove ready for me. But I'm going to go ahead and fill each of these quart jars up and leave a 1/2 inch headspace. I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of these jars filled up and get the seals and the rings on them, and then we'll be back in a minute and we'll get them in the pot. I've got all my jars in my pot, and for this recipe we're doing a boil water bath method for 15 minutes. So once my water starts boiling again, I'll go ahead and start my timer. So these grapes have been sitting here for about 15 minutes or so, and I can see that they're already starting to darken up quite a bit. I'm really happy with how it turned out so far. This is our first batch of the season, and I'd like to do a few more if we get a chance. And I want to go ahead and leave these set for the next 12 to 24 hours to make sure they seal good. And after that, it's still probably going to be at least another 2 or 3 weeks before I decide to try any of this. I want to give the grapes time to release all that good flavor and color. But I guess that's about it for the video. Thank y'all for joining us here on the farm. I hope you have a blessed day, and we'll see you next time.